Welcome to Collecting Chaos. My name is James, and today we're going to talk about taking care of comics. Not the normal ones that you see, but old ones that you happen to get. Maybe you bought it as your LCS, or you got it off eBay, or some other way. Maybe it was just you did a trade and you got these comics. But there's things you need to do when you receive a comic that's pre-owned. I don't care if it's 3 days old, 3 years old, 30 years old, 80 years old. It doesn't make any difference. These are things you should consider doing. So we're going to get to that. But first, let's watch this. So, here we go. I recently picked up this comic, Roy Rogers Comics. I want to make sure I take care of it right. So the first thing I want to do, and a lot of people do this, they get this comic and it looks good, and they just stick it in their collection. You know, the bag looks okay, board looks okay, we'll just put it in the collection, not worry about it. That's the wrong thing to do. The first thing you want to do is take it out of the bag and board. Number one, you don't know how long it's been in that bag and board. Unless you were at your LCS and you watched the vendor put it in a new bag and board, you don't know how old that bag and board is. So just go ahead and change it out. Now if it's in Mylar, you could consider keeping it. But for the bag and the board, now you see this one? Yeah, that's thin, maybe 20 point. That's not acceptable. The bag, this bag appears to be polypropylene, which is okay for short term. I wouldn't want to keep it long term. And it's starting to feel a little sticky, so yeah, we definitely want to change that out. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Next, is it complete? Did you examine it before you got it? Let's check it out. Pretty sure this one is, but let's take a look at it anyway. Wow, look at this. It's got something on it. I don't have my regular brush that I use, so I'm going to use this little paintbrush. It's a little bit stiff, but if there's any dirt on the comic, it'll take it off. Get yourself a soft brush, preferably a drafting brush, but a paintbrush will work. And you can use that brush to pick up the next page too. And you want to go through every page. You want to check it out. You want to see if the pages are complete. Are there any tears on it? In it? Any reason that would give you... And notice I'm concentrating here on on the spine, because generally that's where dirt hides. If you have dirt in a comic on the inside, that's probably where it's going to be. We're just going to keep going through this until we get to the center. Ideally, I should be counting the pages. I'm not counting the pages on this one. I should, but I'm not. Because most of the time you can tell if a comic is complete when you get to that centerfold. Did anybody notice how many pages it said that it had? Let's take a look. Let's go back to the front cover. 52 pages. That might include the cover, which would be 4 pages. So we'll say 48, so that would be 12 to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I might have to recount that, because by that makes me think this might be short. So let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, I turned 2 pages at once there. 12. 12 times 4 is 48, plus the cover, which was often considered a part of the comic, 50 is another 4, and that's 52. So it says 52 pages, but it's included the cover as page count. Very common, especially for Dell comics. And if you look at the back, yeah, that's what I thought. It's complete, but it's kind of, it can throw you off. And we're going to finish this up real quick. We want to go through every page. We want to make sure there's no dust or dirt on the inside. You can use compressed air to do this. I've used compressed air. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is I actually tore an older comic using compressed air. So I don't recommend that. I guess if you're careful with it, you can do it and get away with it. I know some people do. But you know what? A soft brush, even if it's like a 4-inch wide soft paintbrush, is going to be a lot less expensive. Will last you nearly forever. And I am feeling a little bit of dirt coming off this one. And it will last nearly forever. And you don't have to worry about going out and buying canned air. Canned air can get expensive quick. Okay, got that done. What do I do next? Well, let's take a cotton round, make a pad, cotton round, and we're just going to go very gently over the back cover. This does 2 things. It removes any surface dirt, dust accumulation. Now it's not going to take it all off, but it'll take a decent amount off. And it kind of polishes it. Look, it did take some dirt off. I don't know if you can see that or not. Then we'll turn it over. And we'll do the same thing Notice dirt side, clean side. But we'll do the same thing to the front cover. Very gently. If you feel resistance, that means you hit a patch of dirt. But we're going very gently, and all we're doing is trying to get any surface dirt off that we see. Now there's another reason that you might hit resistance, especially on a white comic. It might have a tape pull that is concealed by the fact that it's a white cover. A lot of dirt came off the front. Unbelievable. All right, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a cotton round. We're going to take that old backing board and stick it in between the first wrap and the cover. We're going to take some distilled water, and we're going to put a couple of drops on this cotton round, maybe 3 drops. As you can see, that's not a whole lot of water. And then I'm going to take it, and I'm going to very gently go over the cover of the comic with it. All I'm doing is I'm dampening it a little bit, and maybe if we're lucky we're pulling off a little more dirt. You got to be real careful when you get to the edges, because the cotton round can catch the damp edge of the comic. Look at that, more dirt. Not a lot of dirt, but we got some more off of it, and that's a good thing. Now we're going to let it dry. I like going over the edges again, but we're going to let it dry for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. All right, that's been 4 or 5 minutes. Now, why did I do that? Well, 2 reasons. Number one, as you can see, it took a little more dirt off the comic. And number 2, the moisture that was left hydrated into the paper. So now the paper is a little more hydrated. Let's take a new clean cotton round and gently go over the whole thing. And what we're doing is we're kind of buffing it out. You don't need to press down. You don't need to put any pressure at all. Just very gently, very lightly go over it. And this will help bring gloss back into it. I know it sounds funny. But a lot of times that gloss disappears just from dust and dirt and lack of hydration. No dirt. Let's take a look at the comic. Look at that. Look at that shine. It's so much nicer. Not perfect, but nicer. Now we're going to take this out. Notice I have a backing board down there. That is a brand new backing board. And I'm going to be using that backing board when I put the comic in a bag. I'm going to stick that old backing board in here now. I'm going to do the same thing. Now this is still a little damp, so we're just going to go ahead and use the back side. Notice the dirt is on this side. We're going to use the back side. You know what? No, we're not. We're going to do a new one. We're going to do a fresh one. 2 or 3 drops of water. That's plenty. Actually, that's more than enough. That's oversaturated. Perfect. And we'll do the same thing with this side. Very gently go over it. Hoping to pick up a little dirt. Got a little bit off, not much. Did get a little bit off. Throw that off to the side. And wait 5 minutes. Alright, that's about another 5 minutes there. Take the, this is the same one I used on the front. And this is the side that I used on the front. So we're going to use the other side to do the back. Very gently, just like I did before. Now, if you feel a little patch of rough on the comic, that can mean several things. It could have a stain on it that you can barely see. It can have a tape pull in the event of a white comic that you don't see. It might have some kind of grime on it that you don't see. Don't try to rub it out. All you do is hurt it. Unless you are familiar with how to clean comics, I would not recommend doing anything to it. Just go over it gently. And we get a little tiny bit of gloss back. Now this does have a tiny little stain here, and I could feel that when I went over it. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I may clean that off at a later date. And if I do, I'll show you. So, that's nice and dry and shiny. We're going to set it on the backboard that we plan to use. I'm going to put this one, this is the old backboard. Set that off to the side. This is a 24-point backboard, I believe, that I'm using. I don't remember. And an appropriate sized bag. Notice I'm putting the comic in with the backboard. That is important. Because if you have the backboard in there and you try to slide the comic in without first, and this is a Golden Age backing board and it's tight. Wow. There you go. Now I use either OPP bags or Mylar. And I should put this in a Mylar, but I opted just to stick it in an OPP bag for now. You can use polypropylene. There's nothing wrong with polypropylene, but change them every 5 to 10 years. For OPP bags, I don't know how long you can keep a comic in an OPP bag. It is extruded polypropylene. Just as Mylar is extruded polyethylene. So there you go. That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to take care of this comic. I will tape it using some painter's tape. And it looks pretty good. Nice addition to my collection, I think. I may press this in the future, but in the meantime, just wanted to show you how I take care of my comics when I get ready to put them in a bag and board before putting it in my collection. I make sure they're reasonably clean. I didn't go crazy cleaning it. You know, there's a lot more things I can do to clean it a little better. But I know there's no surface dirt on the inside or the outside of the comic. And that was the purpose of this. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a little bit. And take care of your comics. And while you're going through them, yeah, why not read them? Yeah, why not read the comic as you're going through it? Won't hurt. Take care, everybody. Bye.